back with a review of the Prime Logic. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I wanted to talk about this bow a little bit. I am super impressed with it. We've got several in the shop, so come shoot one and see for yourself how they shoot. But the one I've got in my hand is the Prime Logic. It's 31 inches axle to axle. Got a 7-inch brace height, which I'm a big fan of. It's rated at 330 IBO, but we're going to shoot it through our chronograph and kind of give you some real world numbers and see what it does. We've shot it a few times and I've been impressed. It's 4.3 pounds. We put it on our scale and it did weigh 4.3 pounds, so they're not trying to do anything crazy on us there. They make their own strings in-house out of 452X, and we know that's a good material. Don't stretch any, so I'm happy with that. One of the biggest selling points for this bow, other than it shooting great, is that every 2 years you get a set of free strings from the factory. And all you have to do is come in. You bought it from me, you come in, I've registered it for you. We send in a card, they send the strings here, and you bring your bow in, I put them on. It don't cost you a dime, so that's pretty cool. The factory actually pays the shop to put the strings on, so you literally do not have to pay a dime to get your bow restrung every 2 years. So that's pretty slick. From what I can tell, the strings are excellent quality. It looks like Halo servings. If you're in the string world, that's a good serving. So that's a big plus. It's got this flex guard on it. They call it the Flexus, so you can tune your, if you got a big vein or something, you can kind of tighten it up and get it out of the way, or if you're shooting smaller veins, we can bring it closer and take a little torque out. Speaking of torque, the cams on this bow are the widest that they've made, and the way they're made, it don't want to lean like a single cam does. You got double. It's one piece, but it's two planes, I guess you would say. The cable runs down the middle, so it helps reduce cam lean. I'm a big fan of that. Somebody also asked me, does this bow come with speed knocks on it? It don't, but the way the string hooks into the double cam system, this acts as a speed knock, so you really don't need one. It's got a good back wall. It's a consistent draw cycle, and then boom, you're at the back wall and it holds steady. So I was very impressed with it. I'm going to put some graphics on the screen to talk about the colors you can get it in. There's a ton of color options. In what they call their TAC Ops pattern, you can get Tactical Tan, Ghost Green, or Recon Gray. And then in the camo versions, you can get Optifade Elevated 2, Optifade Subalpine, which I'm a big fan of, and we have several of those in. Optifade Open Country, First Light Fusion, which looks pretty slick, First Light Cypher. They have Realtree, and then you, of course, can get it in white. Now, for a small upcharge, you can also mix and match those colors. And the one I've seen that looked pretty sharp was the green riser with the subalpine limbs. We've got a couple of those on the way, but hadn't showed up yet, but should be here any day. So stick with me. What we're going to do is chronograph this bow, put some more graphics on the screen. We're going to do a vibration test like we have in our previous videos, and also we're going to get out our decibel gauge and see how loud this thing is. So hang with me for a few minutes. I'm going to go through it. Not going to take your whole night up, just a few minutes, and tell you what I think about this thing. But so far, I am really impressed. See y'all in a minute. Hey, I'm back. I wanted to talk about the draw cycle real quick. I'm going to put a graphic on the screen of the draw force curve. But when you pull this thing back, the one I've got is a 28-inch draw on 60 pounds. And it is cam specific. I didn't say that earlier. We have some here of all different draw lengths, and I've got some cams ordered. But, we will have to swap out a cam if we don't have what you need. But we got lots of 28s, 28.5s, and 29s, since that's the most popular. But it's pretty consistent, boom, and then it hits the back wall. Now, this thing has a limb stop on it, but also comes with cable stops. So if you like that little bit of squishy back wall, we can switch it out and give you that. Say you're shooting a back tension or something. If you creep forward with it, you probably have an inch and a half before it really takes off on you, but even then it's smooth. It's not a super aggressive draw cycle, which I really like. But the limb stops, of course, I mean, it comes over and boom, it's there. I feel like I could hold it for several minutes without getting too fatigued. Creep forward again. Yeah, you've got a good bit of play before it really takes off on you. Great back wall, I mean, just boom. But this one has the limb stops. The cable stops, if you like the feel of I guess I would say a traditional bow, that you pull back and you got a little bit of sponge to it, then you'd probably like the cable stops. But I really like the boom and I'm there. So a great draw cycle. We're going to go now to the chronograph. Again, this bow is going to be on 28 inches. I checked it on the scale. It's exactly right at 60 pounds. We got a 350 grain arrow. So I'm going to shoot it. And then we got other bows we're going to shoot. I'm going to put a graphic on the screen that shows you the speeds you would get with different arrows and different draw weights and that type of thing. So it'll give you an idea. But stick with us and we're going to go to the chronograph. Alright, so we're going to check our chronograph speed, 28 inches, 60 pounds on the dot, 350 grain arrow. Man, that back wall feels good. Okay. Perfect. Not bad for a bow with such a good draw cycle and a back wall like it has. It's rated at 330. So we'll see what, once we add up our IBO numbers, you know, like a 2970 or a 3070, see what we actually come up with. What we're going to do now is check our vibration test and see how it compares to some other bows. So here we go. We got our sensor on. Perfect. Honestly, as far as hand shot goes, you really don't feel much. The bow does come with factory limb dampeners in it, so I like that a lot. You know, the limb saver makes a good product, and it's in there snug, so it's not moving around, so it really takes out anything. Last but not least, we're going to turn on our decibel gauge and see how loud this bow is compared to other ones. I've shot it inside a couple times, I've shot it outside a couple times, and I've heard several people say, man, that's a pretty quiet bow. And it, as you can see, don't have a stabilizer or any kind of a string dampener. This little piece of fuzz is just where the peep sight locator, where you can separate the strings. So that's no kind of dampener there. So let's see how it holds up to the decibel gauge. And there we have it. Great shooting bow. Tell you what, I would take one of these in the woods any day of the week. I'm super impressed with it. I think now that the word's getting out, we've got them. We're going to sell a lot of them. And hey, I invite you to come in, shoot one, see what you think. Shoot it against any of our other bows or your bow, bring it in. But I think you'll be very surprised. They're going to retail for $1,100. And if we mix and match the colors, there's a small upcharge. Come in, we'll talk about that. But the green with the subalpine looks pretty sharp, and as soon as I get one in, I'll post some pictures. Definitely come by, shoot one. We'll be open this weekend for you to come try them out, and give us a call, come in. One thing, we cannot ship these bows. You have to be local, but if I can answer any questions at all, definitely give me a call at 864-735-8484 or swing by the shop at 206 Hill House Road and give one a shot yourself, and you'll fall in love with it like I did. Hope y'all have a good evening. Talk to you later.